I thought it was, again, I thought it was, like you said, a darn good race. I mean, I really did. I can tell you from where I was sitting, it certainly was, because I had to work really hard to come from 43rd, and I followed Mark Martin pretty much most of the way. Every time I took a step forward, he'd take a step forward. And I think typically when you think fuel mileage race, you think boring. This was not a boring fuel mileage race. There was hard racing all the way down to the finish, and the two guys leading didn't make it. I thought that was great. I mean, not because I finished, just because I finished second, but I think it just made for great entertainment, and that's what we're really here for. I mean, it doesn't matter to me whether it comes down to fuel mileage or not. It's always intense and exciting out there, and really, I can't say that we really played a fuel mileage strategy. I mean, we ran hard that last run. Felt like I saved quite a bit under caution. Our lap times weren't as good as those leaders, so you also kind of figure that, or put that into account. And then, I certainly was saving those last few laps, but it probably didn't do much good. I think that you're not taking into account that we're not seeing as many cautions. I think that doesn't matter how big the fuel cell is. If you have fewer cautions, you're going to see, and when the caution falls, you're typically going to see it come down to fuel mileage. We've seen many races come down to fuel mileage here as well as Pocono. And so, I just think that it depends on the racetrack. Well, that's what I find so exciting about this race, even though it came down to fuel mileage, is that, those guys had to race one another and put themselves in a position to push a little bit harder than they probably wanted to, and they both ran out of fuel. And I think it's ironic, at the same time it's exciting for everybody involved. It certainly makes for a great story, but a big disappointment for the 16 and the 48. Well, I mean, I think we always welcome in everybody to compete. We want the most competition. I think it's a great sport to be a part of. We we've been supporting Chevy, and they've been supporting us at Hendrick Motorsports for so long that we want to just continue to do all we can. And I'm also a Chevy dealer, and I can tell you right now they got great products, and we're doing all that we can to just remind the consumer out there of the great products that are there and going to be available. And I think they're going to be a stronger company when they get through this. It's going to definitely be some tough times for a while, but I think they're going to be even better. Well, this is one of my favorite tracks, so I like Michigan. The car speaks for itself on a big track like this, big corners, long straightaways. And I knew that yesterday we had a good car, no matter where we started the race. And then you play out the race. However, it kind of gives you the format and the strategy. You can't control when the cautions come out. Can't control how many green flag runs there are. All you can control is how good your car is and make adjustments and put your car in the best positions. Try not to make mistakes, and that's what I did. And that's why I give Mark Martin so much credit. This guy is just such a great driver and a smart driver that I think he could have pushed harder to hold Jimmy off for second and maybe even caught Biffle. But I think his crew chief and him were communicating, and Mark was disciplined enough to say, we're not going to make it, and I got to back off, and he played it perfectly. Right now, I think it's about keeping ourselves up front, trying to battle for wins. First, you got to be in the top 5, top 3, be in that position to be able to go for that win. And we've been at Charlotte. I felt like we were good enough to win, and we had the rain. At Dover, we weren't very good. And then last week at Pocono, we were up and down. Felt like today we were solid all through the race. We have more days like today. We're going to be able to do what we need to do to win this championship. Felt like we also need to get a little bit better on the short tracks. These bigger tracks, the 1.5-2 mile racetracks, seems like we're really good on this year, better than we were last year. but it seems like our short track program is off a little bit. Certainly, our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family. I hope he's going to be fine. But anybody anytime in the whole racing community that somebody is injured and in a wreck like that, first thing you do is ask, where were they racing? What happened? What kind of car were they in? Just to kind of understand what kind of safety features and measures are taken, and what possibly caused the wreck. And then at the same time it's like a friend, it's like a family member that you don't ever want to see something like that happen. And certainly racing with Johnny over the years, I really hated to hear that, and I'm really, really hoping that he comes out of it okay. Based on what I was hearing out of his voice, I would say yes. I think that we need those bonus points. We're lacking about 20, 30 right now, and we want to go into that chase. Not only solidly up in the points, but with those wins, with those bonus points, it could be the difference between the championship. And so, I think right now we're definitely in a position to take more chances. I said, "Oh man, you snookered us again." And, I can say that because I just love this guy. He is older than me, and he's just a darn good race car driver and a smart race car driver. And, we're so proud to have him, proud to see that 5 team go into Victor Lane. Well, right now we are. We don't want to get beat by him for the championship. So right now we're happy for him, and we share in their success.